everyone. Welcome to the Name One Player podcast. My name is Nicole. I am your host, and I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody for hitting play today. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here again. I'm so glad that you enjoyed whatever episode that you've listened to previously, and you thought, hey, I really like that. I'm gonna come back again. Thank you. That means the absolute world to me. And if you are a new listener, huge welcome to you. The Name One Player podcast is a place for women to chat about the sports that they love. That's really it. Without ever being asked to name one player who play the sports that they love. We're never gonna do that. I will ask the women that I have on here to tell me a little funny story about the times that they've been quizzed about the sports that they love, but I'm never actually gonna quiz them. I promise. It's literally us just chatting, just a casual girly chat about the sports that you love. And today we have a new sport that I've actually never discussed on the Name One Player podcast, and that is golf. Today is Monday. Yesterday was Sunday. And this past weekend, we had the Masters tournament. Yesterday, we saw Rory McIlroy win his first Masters, and it was emotional, to say the least. It was a roller coaster from start to finish. I say start to finish, I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent. I only watched Sunday. I didn't watch the other days. I saw some clips here and there, but I really was not rooting for anybody going into Sunday, but I knew I wanted to sit and watch Sunday from start to finish, and I was locked in. I was locked in, and you had good reason to be locked in. I remember when I did follow golf a little bit more back in the day, back in like 2021-ish, sometimes the tournaments were a little boring. I'll be honest. Sometimes they were. Sometimes it was difficult for me to keep my focus the entire time. Yesterday, however, it was not. Yesterday, I was locked in. It was a roller coaster from start to finish. I feel like I've said that like 5 times, but that's really the best way to describe it. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. And like I said, I wasn't necessarily rooting for anybody going into it, but once I started getting into it a little bit more, Rory, he was a clear, easy one to root for, and I'm very happy that he's won and now has his career Grand Slam. So congratulations to Rory. It was a fun one to watch, and I'm now really excited to continue to stay on top of golf, continue to watch the rest of the tournament. It's going to be exciting. Like I said before, I haven't really watched since 2021-ish. That's when I had a really good understanding on who was playing, what was going on, the drama at the time. But this was also before, too, Live Golf really became a thing. It was still in talks. It wasn't really out there yet. So it's been a while. And I have a lot to catch up on. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do this episode. Okay, that's worded incorrectly. I knew I wanted to do the episode, but I was a little bit nervous to do the episode because I just wasn't really confident that I would have enough to be able to talk about. But then I kind of realized that that's, I think, a reason that a lot of women don't talk about sports, that they shy away from it, because they feel like they don't know everything. And that's exactly what I'm trying to dispel. If you want to talk about sports, talk about sports. You don't need to know every single player and every single stat and every single thing that they've done for the last 10 years. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. You can still have conversations without all of that information. So I am really excited today. I've done a good amount of research, but a little bit lacking information, I guess. And that I realized is completely okay. I still had a great time watching yesterday. I still have a lot of thoughts. I do have a gap of information, which I'm so excited that our guest on today will be able to fill me in on. And our guest today, Allie, I met her through TikTok, and like I said, I wanted to do a golf episode because I really do know how much fun it can be and how enjoyable it is to one, watch, and two, discuss. So I knew I wanted to do a golf episode. However, I wasn't really seeing a ton of golf content come across my For You page. So I did search the hashtag golf girlies, and a couple of people did come up. However, I wasn't really getting a lot of information about the Masters. I was getting a lot of really cool, badass women who play golf, which would love to get a golfer on here. If anybody plays golf and wants to talk about why they love playing golf, hit me up. We'll do an episode. I absolutely love the idea of that. But I wanted to do an episode recapping the Masters. I knew that I wanted to do that. So I wanted to get somebody on here that I was seeing online talking about this. And Allie came across my For You page. She had done a couple of TikToks before the Masters, kind of doing a little bit of a preview and talking about who to watch out for, the storylines to watch out for, why she loves golf, why she's watching, and it was really catered towards women, which obviously I love. And once I saw that, I was like, this is perfect. This is my guest. We got her. So reached out to her. Thankfully, she was willing to come on. So I'm really excited for this conversation with Allie. Like I said, I haven't followed golf in a hot minute, so Allie is definitely going to be carrying this conversation, and I'm so happy that she agreed to come on and chat about her love for golf, how it came to be, and specifically the Masters and Rory winning and all of her thoughts surrounding that. I will point out, I am wearing green for the Masters. I have no green in my closet. Like, this is it, and this other dress, that's probably a more Masters jacket kind of green. This is not the same green. I fully acknowledge that. However, we work with what we've got, right? We work with what we've got. Yeah. I think that's really it for me. We've got Allie ready and waiting to chat about golf. I'm so excited for this episode. So let's just get into it, shall we? All right, everybody, without further ado, please welcome Allie. All right, everybody, we have Allie here with us. Allie, thank you so much for joining. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited too. We were just chatting. This is the first time that we've met, if you will.
Yep.
So just chatting, it seems like we already have so much in common. So I'm so excited for this episode. I think it's going to be a blast. But Allie, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm currently a dietetics student. I'm doing a master's right now. I graduated from the University of Florida, so go Gators. And yeah, I'm a really big sports fan. I love golf. I love football. Really into basketball this year. March Madness. Again, go Gators. But yeah.
How did Florida do with March Madness?
We won. Oh my gosh. We won the whole thing. Yes. Oh my gosh. It was so exciting. We were down every single game and we came back in every single game. Walter Clayton Jr. is my king. I love him.
Oh, well, congratulations to Florida.
Thanks. Oh my gosh.
Exciting. That must have been so much fun to follow along.
It was so much fun. It was the best. It's my first Gators championship for like basketball or football since I've been a student. I grew up an FSU fan, which is big rivalry there.
Okay, interesting. So what made you decide to go to University of Florida then?
Honestly, I know you're from Canada, so the rivalry is probably like a little bit newer for you, but it's both Florida schools. Traditionally, we have a game that we play every year. And just a little bit of background, but both my parents went to FSU and both my brothers actually went to FSU.
Okay.
So I did grow up a diehard FSU fan, but UF is better for academics.
Okay.
And we are better in basketball, and hopefully this year better in football.
I know that you were mentioning that you listened to the college football episode with Joy.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
I, being in Canada, like, it's just not really that huge of a thing, but it is fun to follow along. I am going to be doing an NFL draft episode, but it's nice to kind of have a general pulse of like who's playing really well, who might be able to make it to the NFL, that sort of thing. So maybe I'll have to follow along with the Gators. But I'm just now so curious, like, was your family heartbroken or were they like, okay, Allie, do what you got to do?
Listen, they were heartbroken at first, but I grew up in St. Pete, which is closer to Gainesville than Tallahassee. So
Okay.
they were a little bit excited about that. And at the end of the day, they were proud of me because it's a harder school to get into. So they were happy I ended up going there and I had a great time. And they won't wear any gator stuff, but they will wear orange and blue on occasion, which are our colors. So,
Well, I'm glad it all worked out. Glad there was no bad blood. Glad that everybody was happy. So that's a good thing.
yes.
Well, Allie, today we are chatting about golf, and I was telling you before we hit record, I knew that I wanted to do a golf episode. It's been a while since I've really followed golf. Honestly, the last time was like back in 2021 when I really knew what was going on, and
Okay.
it was before Live, like there were talks about it, but it was before it was like out in the open, done. Like now
Yeah.
I know that there's like actual live players, and then there was the merger. That was before all of this happened. So I'm slowly catching up here, but I know how crazy golf can be. I think there is a general idea that golf is so boring.
Oh my gosh.
There's nothing going on. But no, golf is really crazy. And I knew that I wanted to find a girl to come on Name One Player and just have a casual chat about golf and the style that we do on these episodes. But I was honestly struggling to find girls who were chatting about golf. And then I was sort of giving up hope on doing a Masters recap episode. And then your Masters, honestly, I think you just kind of did like a preview
Yes. Yeah.
of the Masters. And like you were talking about the drama, you were talking about the lore, and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And then I DM'd you and you're like, oh my God, I'd absolutely love to come on. So I think it was fate that you stumbled
Yes.
across my For You page. I don't know what hashtag you used, but it worked. And here we are. Here we are. So tell me a little bit about your love for golf, how it started, why you love it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. So I did grow up in a family that watched golf. I have two brothers, so it kind of helped with my love for sports, I would say.
Okay.
But I grew up and my dad loved Phil Mickelson. He
Okay.
loved him. He ended up going to live, so it was a little bit of drama. And then I do live in Orlando, Florida now. So we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational here, and I started going to that 2 years ago, and I've been 3 years in a row. And honestly, I kind of thought the same thing. I thought that golf was boring. I was really into football, was really into basketball, kind of those higher pays, bigger crowd kind of things. So I didn't really get it until I actually went to a tournament, and I
Okay.
was like, no, this is so cool. First of all, it's like a hot girl walk. You get to be outside. The courses are gorgeous. Like I'd been golfing before and I'm like not a great golfer. So I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just go. I bought the tickets for my now fiance. I was like, this is gonna be so great. And then it was so cool to actually like see it in person. You don't see all the emotion and what they're actually doing behind the scenes. When you're watching it on TV, they kind of switch between players so quickly. And the golfers are just like so nice. They were giving us fist bumps, and high fives. They love the crowd, the atmosphere. It was just all so fun. So we followed Sahith the Gala around for the whole 2 days that we were there.
Okay.
And I just kind of had a little obsession over him. I'm not gonna lie. He was just so nice and he was really young, a brand new golfer. I followed him on Instagram and I just kind of got into it that way. And then the more I watched him, the more I was watching the other players as well on TV and stuff. So yeah, now it's been 3 years and unfortunately he didn't make the cut for the Arnold Palmer this year, which I was really, really sad about. But yeah, it just kind of built off of that.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, I've never been to a tournament, but I
Yes.
have heard that pretty often. I feel like with most sports that it's like, yeah, you can watch it on TV and everything, but it's like when you go and see it live, it's just such a different experience. And the investment, I guess, that follows like after you actually watch it live and just see that different perspective that you don't necessarily get on TV. It's like a whole different world.
It's so funny. I was literally like, that's my friend Sahith. Like, we're friends. Like, I met him. But honestly, it worked. Like, it got me hooked. It was night and day.
Well, I mean, touching on to the fact that I found you on TikTok. What made you decide to make this TikTok account?
There's a lot more girls getting into sports, I would say, but I personally found that there wasn't a lot of media like yours that's specifically catering to girls. So I feel like a lot of girls have to kind of be put in this box where they have to be super, I don't want to say mean, but very like they have to be gung ho about it, or like men won't take them seriously, or like they have to be kind of pleasing to the male gaze if they want to be successful, but there's not a lot of girls catering towards other girls. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to get other girls excited about sports. I feel like a lot of times guys are just kind of like, whatever, she's just a girly girl, whatever. But I wanted to show that it's okay to be both. You
Yeah.
can be a super girly girl, but it's super fun to also watch sports. There's such an overlap. So I just really wanted to get the girls that are also girly girls and also are interested but don't know where to start getting to like sports basically.
I absolutely love that. I think that is such a good point because I mean, if we're just generalizing general umbrella terms, like nobody come for me. I know that people are unique and all this kind of stuff, but like a
Yeah.
general term, you know, typically men sometimes like things differently than women do, just because of
Yes. Yeah.
brains work, the way society is, whatever. But I think the reason why sports are so great is because of it's exciting.
Yeah.
The players' stories, the backgrounds, you know, the ups and downs, like all of the history, all of that kind of stuff. And it's games with rules and the unpredictability of it all. That has nothing to do with being a man or a woman. Anybody can appreciate that, but I do
Yeah.
think society, who knows why, put sports and liking sports as kind of a more masculine male thing. But everybody likes excitement. Everybody loves a good
Yes.
story. Everybody, it doesn't matter. So I absolutely love that it's like, no, I can still be a girly girl if that's what you want to call it. I can still love all of these generically girly things, but also appreciate that sports are really cool. Sports are really fun. They're not just for guys and run with it.
Yeah, no, I get so excited about it too because there's so many things about sports that I'm like, this seems like something that girls would love. Like the drama. Some of these games that I'm watching, it's literally like, are they not scripted? Because there's no way anyone would believe this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is such a typical girl thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like golf, especially, like they have these sweet little kids that they're doing the par three, just like so heartwarming. And it's real life. It's such a thing that it's catered more towards men, but the stories, the realness of it is so something that I feel like a lot of girls would also appreciate. And they just don't realize that there's these stories and these interactions and stuff that's just like, oh, it's so cute, honestly. I hate to say that sports are so cute, but there's so many things that I think that girls would love that they just don't know about.
Yeah, I think that's great that you've made this TikTok account and are kind of, I mean, not to make this all about marketing, but marketing yourself in that way. I think that's great because I do think, unfortunately, there probably are still, not probably, there are still a lot of women who, you know, growing up in the society that we've grown up in, growing up with a lot of the men that have this idea that sports are for men. But it's so nice when they're able to get these TikToks that come across their For You page and be like, no, there's drama and there's hot
Yes,
girl walks and there's cute outfits and there's all this kind of stuff. And I think a lot of women might be like, oh no, we shouldn't say it that way. We don't need to make it a girly thing. But it's like, no, if you like girly things, you're allowed to like girly things. That's totally okay. If you don't like girly things, that's totally okay too. But there's, like you said, that connection that is something that a lot of women really like to hear about. And it exists. And it's really crazy stories too, if you get to
yes,
the root of it all. And it's okay to want to be invested in that. And it's definitely not a negative thing to want
yeah,
to learn about that kind of stuff. And I do think sometimes society, for a really long time, kind of shut that side of it down. But when you
yeah,
look at things like Netflix sports and Full Swing,
yes,
they're made to teach us that kind of background connection, family,
yes.
relationships, all that kind of stuff in almost like a reality TV
No,
kind
it's
of
like
way.
reality TV.
It really is reality TV. It's like their real lives. They have cameras following them around watching their
Yeah,
real life. Like it is reality TV. and I love reality TV. I love it.
Same.
So it's like combining those two. I think Netflix Sports is realizing that women are a huge market to be
Yes.
catered towards. And again, not even to make this about marketing, like just for the love of sports.
Yeah.
People are realizing now that like, women can enjoy sports too and bring a
Yes.
lot to the table when they are sports fans.
Yeah. And I want to validate people who maybe don't know all the facts and they have different levels of knowledge and saying, hey, it's okay if you enjoy the sport, even if you don't know everything about it. I just want to encourage girls to enjoy it. And also, I like what you're talking about, the marketing perspective of it. I feel like sports are catering to only one half of the population, and that's just silly. Like, they should be catering towards everyone, not just men.
Before we hit record, I touched on too. I haven't followed golf in a really long time. And when I started this podcast, I did kind of think I'm going to need to know everything. Like I don't ever want to come on here and sound uneducated or like not even uneducated, like I don't know everything that I'm talking about because you do often hear sports podcasts and they sound so analytical. They have all the stats, they have every
Yes.
single perfect thing that happened. I don't know what each golfer hit on every hole. I know that I could get the numbers. I hate numbers. I failed math multiple times in high school, managed to get through it in university because I needed it for my degree, but I hate it. It's just not something that I connect with. And I do think there is that idea because a lot of men in particular, when they are talking about sports, they are able to list off a lot of things, which is really great if that's what they like. Number
Yeah.
one, though, which I have learned, they find the information on the internet and they just write that down. I could do that
Right.
too. I
Yes.
just want to. It's just not really for me.
Yeah.
That's totally okay, but that's just what they like. But going back to
Correct.
the whole, I consume sports because, well, talking about football in particular, it's so exciting. You know, about how it being scripted, it's so funny. I just went on a date a few weekends ago, and like he's not a huge football fan, and he was like, I don't know, like I just feel like I haven't really gotten into it. It's
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
overrated, and I was like, okay. I said it very nicely, obviously, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what you're watching because the football now, especially in the last like 5 years, I understand the argument of it being scripted because it's crazy. Like
It's
how
crazy.
how are these things coming up? But even going back to the topic at hand today, golf Sunday, yesterday, we're recording on Monday. It was such a crazy, crazy, crazy
It was
final day
crazy.
at Masters. And it seemed like it was scripted. But going back
Yeah.
to you don't have to know everything. And I do not know everything about golf. There is
Yeah.
100%. I will never come on here and act like I know everything that there is to know about golf and what's been going on the past few years. And I was kind of torn between trying to get as much information as I can. Obviously, I want to have a general knowledge so that we
Yeah.
can come on here and have a conversation. But I don't want women to think that that's the only way that they can enjoy sports and talk about sports is knowing every little thing.
Yeah.
Because most people, even the people who act like they know every little thing, they don't know it. They don't know it
Yes,
all.
that's so funny because even the guys that are commenting on my TikToks, I made a TikTok about who you should root for the Masters before the tournament, and everyone was like Bryson DeChambeau, Bryson DeChambeau, and I just personally don't like him. But everyone was making me feel like I was wrong in my opinions, and I was like, no, like it's my opinion. Like I get to pick whoever I want to win. They can cheer for whoever they want, but why do I have to cheer for who you like just because that's who you like? And then on another one that I made, there was a guy who said something about Rory having the perfect 54 holes. And I said something back to him that was just like, well, there was a lot of ups and downs, but it made for good TV. And he was like, well, we can't be all be perfect. And I was like, well, you just said he had the perfect holes. So I was just like, even if you think you know everything, like there's like an aspect that maybe you can miss, even if you watch the whole tournament too.
Well, that's so funny that you said about the opinions, and people are allowed to have different opinions. And for a really long time, when I started talking about football, I didn't say anything. And if you have listened to other episodes, you might know that I started tweeting about football, but like I never used my
Yes.
name, I never used my picture because a lot of the time when women give their opinions about sports, they get told that they're wrong, they get told this, whatever. but
Yep.
in a very different way than when a man, and I think about these like sportscasters who get paid millions of dollars when they give their opinion. And it's like, if you think about any sports show, you will always have the one person who gives a prediction that's very different from the rest, just to
Yep.
kind of be a little bit different. But that, who knows if that's actually their opinion or the network being like, say this.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they don't get screamed at, told they're wrong. Well, to be fair, some of the times they do. But gender isn't necessarily brought into it.
Yes. Yeah.
They have different opinions. They root for different things. They
Yeah.
might have valid reasons to back up their opinion, or they might not. Sometimes people say things on TV and I'm like, that's really stupid. It almost validates me in a way. And I think any woman who is trying to be like, oh, I want to say my opinion, but I'm just kind of afraid of like what people might say. People are
Yeah.
gonna people are gonna argue with you no matter what. And I just keep going back to when I don't necessarily agree with people who are making millions of dollars. I am making
Yeah.
$0 and I'm gonna put out my opinion. And if people don't like it, that's fine because I just remind myself that the people who are making lots and lots and lots of money, some people don't like their opinions either.
Very true.
Oh, right. Okay, so let's get into the Masters. You
Yay.
touched on about who you were rooting for, who you weren't necessarily rooting for. Let's get into the golfers. Who did you want to win?
Okay. So I have like a couple that I really were excited about.
Okay.
Rory, obviously, just because he was up for the Grand Slam. I know it's been a few years, like 11 years in the making or something like that, which is basically him winning all four of the major tournaments in golf. And the Masters was the last one. So I feel like everybody's kind of been rooting for him for a while on that. I love Aberg. He is a Swedish player. He is a cutie patootie, I will have to say. Um, but he made a run towards the end that was really good. So he was like up there in the rankings too. I think he was fourth or fifth maybe. And I love Jordan Spieth. I remember seeing him when I was like kind of getting into golf and he was the hot thing. I loved his full swing episode. He was so good. So I was just kind of rooting for him because he hasn't really won anything recently. So I just like to kind of cheer for him still. He ended up doing pretty good too. And then of course Sahith, my number one. He's
Your
my
friend.
favorite. My friend. Yeah, I just love him. His girlfriend has a TikTok account too, and I literally am obsessed with her as well. So it just makes it so exciting. And she does like all behind the scenes videos of him too. So it feels like you really get to know him too. But super interestingly enough, I did not want to cheer for Bryson. I know you made a TikTok about it, and I was laughing so hard about it because he was not a very nice guy, and he got a whole PR team that like taught him what to say and like, what to do in situations and blah blah blah. To me, it's all fake. He had a change of heart.
Okay.
Okay. Like, no, sir, you got a PR team.
That's hilarious. Okay, so for anybody listening, I did post a TikTok that was like, because it was actually on your TikTok that you're like, who are you rooting for? And pretty well everybody was like Bryson. And I was like,
Everyone.
oh, what? Because again, I haven't followed golf since around 2021. And this was back in the
Yeah.
time where like Brooks Koepka and Bryson,
Mhm.
they were like just beefing
Beefing.
the whole
So
time.
beefing.
And also, to be fair, Brooks Koepka, he's a little bit of a I mean douche was the first word that
Yeah,
came to
yeah,
mind. I
for
think he's
sure.
funny, but I think at that time he was definitely egging Bryson on, and Bryson
Yeah.
was the kind of guy to fall for like
Hmm.
he was walking
Yep.
into everything that Brooks was saying. So at the time it was like a little bit humorous, but I also did kind of feel bad for Bryson in a way, but I was like, Bryson also is being an ass. Like, also too, these are professional golfers. Like as much as I love the drama, it was just so petty. But then when Bryson would come back, like he could have very, very easily said that and be like, this is stupid. Like I'm here to play golf. Why is Brooks like in my ear like this? That
Yeah.
would have been the best PR move.
Right.
Unfortunately, he didn't, and then he kind of came out looking like the bad guy in that situation. And then I know there was the whole thing with live golf and everything, but I hadn't followed golf from then until now. So
Yeah.
then I open up your TikTok in the comments and being everyone like, Bryson, yeah, Bryson DeChambeau, like, I hope he wins. And I'm like, whoa, 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 in here
Oh
because
my gosh.
like nobody, yeah, he was always a good golfer for sure.
Yeah, no, he was always good.
And like you can't deny that. But I was I was just confused, like the
Yes.
enthusiasm and the excitement towards him. So then I did make this TikTok being like, what happened here? Can somebody
Yeah.
let me know? And somebody commented to watch his full swing episode.
Oh
And I
yeah.
started watching it. I didn't finish it. It was pretty late. I was honestly I wanted to go to bed so that I'd wake up rested to
Fair.
do this with you.
Yes.
But so I definitely will go back and watch that because I don't get it, but that's such a good point. I kind of agree with you about if you hire a PR team to do a
Yeah.
full revamp of your image, how
How
much
real
of
is
that
it?
is real? Like, how much of that
No.
is like you've actually learned, or how much of it is
Yeah.
like he realized, like, oh, damn, I have no backing, like, no fan base. When I
Yeah.
go out and play golf, people hate me. Like, and that's
Hmm.
not gonna help me win.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I had a few people be like, no, he's had a change of heart. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I'll have to go back, watch the
Oh my
episode.
gosh.
I'll have to like watch interviews of him too. And
Watch interviews.
well, okay,
Yes.
even too, I just the first thing I woke up this morning when like I Googled something and like one of the news articles, and I didn't watch the interview, I just saw the
Okay.
wording. But he was like, yeah, Rory didn't talk to me at all. And I'm kind of like, what's the point in saying? And again, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not pulling up the article.
Yeah.
Essentially paraphrasing said, somebody asked him, "Oh, did you talk to Rory about his win? How is he feeling?" And Bryson
So
just said
weird.
like he didn't say a word to me. And again, I didn't watch the video. I don't know how he said it. So maybe he was like, I don't know, Rory didn't talk to me. I don't know. But the way that I was reading it, and again, media skews things, so maybe they wanted me to have this perception. I don't know. But I was reading it and I'm just like, who cares? Like, why are
Oh
you
my
like obviously
gosh.
trying to start drama? And I'm going back
Yes.
because I do love the drama, but not when Bryson starts it.
It's also like very interesting because 2024 during the US Open, they weren't like paired together,
Okay.
but Rory was winning the whole time
Yeah.
and he ended up missing like a really, really short putt
Okay.
that allowed Bryson to win. So I think that there was a lot of buildup in the media that they, for some reason, have beef with each other.
Okay.
And so funny too, because now Bryson has a huge following. They're like kind of complete opposites, where Bryson's really into his PR team and like saying the right thing and stuff. And like Rory just like kind of doesn't care. And I kind of love that for him. Like he's kind of a sassy king. When we saw him during the Arnold Palmer, my favorite thing, like the reason that I even became a fan of him was because my fiance like went to fist bump him and he made eye contact with my fiance and then just ignored him. And I thought it was the most funny thing I've ever seen. I got a video of it. I was like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. I love him. Like, it was just so, so funny. And people
Yeah.
get so mad that he doesn't care. Obviously, he does care, but also, this is his job. Like,
Hmm.
he's trying to win. You probably saw the video of him breaking down and crying afterwards. Like, he
Hmm.
was very serious. So,
Yeah.
like, I would imagine that it was more like the media just trying to create beef between them because they're
Yeah.
complete opposites and they've already had the stuff happen with the Open and now this. So I'm honestly really glad that it was Rory versus Rosie, like instead of DeChambeau, because I just don't think I could have dealt with that. Like genuinely. I think I would have been so angry. Also, with DeChambeau, you can look up like his YouTube video and his TikToks, which I think is just why he's more popular with newer fans and like kind of younger fans because he's really appealing to that audience. Also, I personally don't like his politics, just everyday life. So that's like
Interesting.
my like thing with him, but he
Okay.
also like I mean some of the videos that he makes like are pretty interesting. Like he was doing this one that I did watch the whole thing. He was trying to get a hole in one over his house.
Okay.
Um
Cool
so
con.
like the concepts that he was doing was cool, but again, like he was trying to
Yeah.
market himself,
Yeah. And did he come up with
which
that?
was weird.
Probably not. Did he
No,
pay a
he
PR team to come up with it? Probably.
He most certainly did. I gotta respect everyone's opinion about him, but like, just there's too many things for me. Like the PR stuff, him going to live, like taking the money. I don't know. He just gives sleazy vibes to me. Like,
That's it. That's
yeah.
it. That's the word. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it is sleazy. And like, or like, you know who it reminds, this is so mean. We're not a trash talking podcast, but like, I don't know. I think something about Bryson just like brings it out of me. He reminds me
Yes.
of Randall from Recess. Remember him? Like just like sitting there like kind of like sleazy, not in like a ew, you're a sleazeball kind of way, but like
Yeah.
like a what are you doing kind of
No,
way.
like he's like up to something. I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on? The fact that he made that comment about Rory, I'm like, what was your goal with that? Why would you say that about somebody else? You're trying to take away from his moment
Yeah,
almost. And something
yeah,
about that, just like, I don't know. Listen, he's fine. If you want to cheer for him, I don't care. But
completely agree.
this is why I personally don't cheer for him. And yeah, people were mad that I didn't include him. And I was just like, that's so funny that you guys actually like him.
That is too good, and I was not planning. Bryson, if this does ever come across your For You page, because you're on TikTok now, if you are listening to this,
Probably think it's funny. Or his PR team, they'd do something with it, you know.
we'll be like, okay, we need to figure out a way to cater to the female
The
audience.
female,
Because
no,
they
yeah.
seem right
He's
through
gonna start making
this.
like thirst traps or something after
But
this.
I feel like he needs to do something better because we're seeing through it. We're seeing through it. I
Yeah,
think he's gonna do some like heartfelt, like I
he
don't
needs a
know. I don't know.
girlfriend or like a wife or
Yeah.
something.
Is he single? What's going on there? Do
I
we know?
think he's single. I don't actually know. I've never seen him post about like a girlfriend or anything like that.
There's gonna be
So,
like a dating show, I bet.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be like
he
he's
needs to
gonna be
figure it out.
emotionally available, and he's gonna, which he's not.
You're
He no
so
way.
right. You're so right. They're gonna make him cry on national TV.
That's it. That's oh man, we're 3 steps ahead of you, Bryson.
No, he's taking notes right now.
That's amazing. Okay, enough about Bryson. Let's chat more about Rory and this roller coaster. Were you
Yes.
confident in his win? How were you feeling, especially when they had to go into the playoff? What were you thinking?
There was not a moment that I was confident the entire tournament. Let me be so honest. He was like up by like a decent amount. And with Rory, people keep saying that he can't finish anymore. And after watching him miss the really short putt for the last tournament, I was really nervous. So I don't know if you saw, but Rosie made a really good putt
Yeah,
on the 18.
yeah.
And so when I saw that Rory missed a putt that he definitely could have made, I mean, his daughter made a better putt than that in the practice
Literally.
rounds. I was really not okay. Like, I
Mhm.
was so stressed because, for one, I really wanted him to win. And two, I just was like, he is so in his head right now. Like, he
Yeah,
is overthinking this. And I was just so worried. Of course, on the 18th hole, he would hit it in the bunker. And I was gonna feel so, so bad for him if he didn't make it.
yeah.
Also made me really nervous because Rosie was in the last Masters, went into playoffs for it as well, and he ended up losing. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh
that's
my
tough.
gosh. I mean, it wouldn't have been as great of a story if he won. And they play in the Ryder Cup together, so they're like friends. So, like we were talking about earlier, it was like, it felt scripted because
Yeah,
I was like, this is too much. I was so stressed the entire time. He
that's
really was playing with our feelings a little bit.
that is such a good point because yeah, I do know that the last time that it was a playoff in the Masters, it was with Justin Rose and he did
Yeah,
lose. Everybody's so happy for Rory, but I feel like nobody is really talking about that yet.
yeah,
Justin Rose and just how crap he must be feeling. That's really hard. But then at the same time, like he's friends with Rory. They golf together for ages. Like it's he's he's so happy for him and the fact that he has achieved this career Grand Slam. But it does suck that it had to be at
yes.
expense. That's
Yes.
unfortunate.
So I saw the interview that they did with him immediately after, and he was very gracious about it. He was like, I would have loved to be the villain, but outplayed me, basically, is
Yeah.
what he said, which was like, it was good. It was really nice too. And honestly, it seemed like he was happy for him. So again, with the PR, he doesn't really give like mean guy vibes at all, but he gave a great answer and I was like, "Oh, okay, he's happy for Rory." Like
Yeah.
it does seem like he was happy. I was laughing so hard because when he found out that he was going to like the playoffs, like Rory, he like immediately went over to his daughter and like gave her a little kiss on the head and stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, like, he is so stressed out because Justin was shooting first. So after he went and made such a good shot, I was like, oh my gosh, Rory's gonna hit it in the bunker or something. He's gonna find a way to lose this tournament and it's going to break so many hearts.
Yeah.
But then he pulled it out and man, I had my fingers crossed. I could not handle another hole because Justin Rose really could have made that putt. He really could have. And
Yeah.
I thought he did at first. And I was like, I don't think my heart can handle another hole. Like, genuinely.
Well, that's what I think about golf too, is that it's really not boring in the sense that
No,
like
it's
you
not.
genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. And I remember thinking that moment before the tournament started, I genuinely did not care who won. Like I
Yeah,
genuinely didn't care. Knowing about like Rory and everything, like he's always been really good and I do like to root for an
yeah,
underdog.
yeah, of course.
I definitely don't think Rory McIlroy is an underdog. I know he's had a bit of a rough go the last few years,
Yeah.
and like you said, 11 years in the making, wanting to get this career Grand Slam. That's a really great story.
So,
And when I'm not
yeah,
invested, I go for the story. So I
no,
was like, okay, fine, let's just go for Rory here. But I was
yeah.
like, man, if he loses, like I could see the headlines now, like he will never, like you said, never be able to finish, like the stress, like
Hmm.
he always crack under pressure, like he just can't do
Yeah,
it. So, and you could see it, the fact that it did have to go to a playoff, like it is
yeah.
tough, but I am so happy for him. I'm so glad
So
that he
happy.
got it done. And what I keep seeing too is now this like huge weight off of his shoulders. So
Such a huge
I'm so
weight.
curious now what's going to happen with the rest of the majors. Now that he's already won the Masters, he's got his career Grand Slam.
Yes, yeah.
Really excited to see how he plays. How do you think he's going to do?
I personally think it's going up for him. Like, again, with the drama, last year he released that he was getting a divorce from his wife and he ended up making it work. And he's really giving family man vibes right now that I'm really like enjoying. I really think he's going to do really well for the rest of the season. Again, with the weight off of his shoulders. I think that this has put so much pressure on him for so long. And he's always wanted to be a part of the greats. Like, there's only been five other people who have ever completed a Grand Slam. And Spieth is the only other person who is like one away from doing it. I can't remember
Mhm.
which one he needs, but he's another one that I was like, okay, like he was young, he came out super hot, that kind of thing. But I think Rory really needed this. And yeah, I think he's gonna do great for the rest of the year and in the future. Now he knows what it feels like, and I love that he said that it's the best golf tournament. That's so funny to me that he admitted that because he's Irish, but I think that he has a good chance of even winning next year. He's already hot. He has the feeling, and I think he's ready to win big tournaments again.
Yeah, I'm excited. And like I said, haven't followed along with golf for a while, but
Yeah.
the Masters, I think it's so funny that it's like the biggest kind of
Yes.
tournament of the four majors, but it's at the very beginning. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how the rest of the PGA Tour goes. And also, too, it's a Ryder Cup year. That's really exciting.
So fun.
Well, I think Rory, I mean, I think we're just getting started here. I do acknowledge that, but I'm
Yes.
definitely going to be excited to follow along with Rory in particular. I guess Bryson DeChambeau, like, we'll see. We'll have to see what his PR team comes up with, but I'm
Listen,
excited to
also,
follow along.
yeah, I don't watch him that much too because I only really follow like PGA. So I only really see him in the majors,
Yeah,
which is another beef I feel like I have with him. But I do think it was really great for like the Masters to have such big names
yeah,
be at the top of the leaderboard. Not that the Masters ever has a problem. Like, so I
yeah.
feel like they really, again, had a show this year, which was great for them. I do also think it's going to be a way to get people in it for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Like,
so true. So true.
people are going to be following. They want to see what Rory does. They're going to want to see what Bryson does. They're going to be really into these big name players that are making all this drama, basically.
Yeah. Well, they've got me locked in. You know, I have a couple of
Yeah.
friends who are texting me about it too who don't typically watch golf. They got them
Yep.
locked in.
I did see a lot of like stories of people who I didn't know watch golf posting about Rory like winning,
Yeah.
where they'll be like, I literally have never watched golf, but I'm crying over this man winning.
So emotional.
I did shed a few tears, I'm not gonna
I think
lie, after it. But just to see Rory give so much emotion, one of my favorite parts was when he was making his speech after getting his little green coat. Somebody said like, "Love you, Rory," and mid-speech he said, "Love you too." And I just thought that was so cute, and I'm obsessed with him. He's been around for so long. I feel like his fan base is such like a wide range, and this is definitely going to bring more younger viewers to him too. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Well, Allie, this has been a great conversation about the Masters. I'm so glad
Yes.
one that I was able to keep up with you because again, haven't
Yes.
followed
Oh my God.
in so long. So thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Of
I'm
course.
also too, you'll have to, what is your TikTok username? So for everybody listening, they can go back and follow you and kind of see your golf TikToks. Or I imagine you're going to continue making them for the rest of the tour.
Yes, I'll probably keep making them for the rest of the tour. And then, as I was talking about, I love my football too. So I'll probably get on my football soapbox in a little bit.
Can't wait. I mean, we have the draft in a few weeks, and then I just keep telling myself, then it's like summertime and I'm doing fun things to distract myself from the fact that I don't have football to watch.
Totally.
And
Totally.
then it'll be fall. And
No,
oh,
I'm so excited.
I can't wait. So what is your TikTok?
Oh, it's sport and sweet, like the Sabrina Carpenter, like short and sweet. Had to give a little early.
Be sure to follow Allie. I'll make sure I link that in the episode description as well. All right, one last question for you, and I ask every single person who comes on, and we've gotten some amazing stories. So, I named
Yes.
this podcast called Name One Player because I feel like as a woman, it's fairly common once you divulge that you like sports, whatever sport it may be, you get questioned a little bit and you often get asked to name one player. So, do you have any stories about times that you've been made to prove that you love the sports that you love?
Yes, I haven't actually had one that's to do with golf. Honestly, I think it's just because there's only like the players basically are who you're cheering for, so it's kind of like obviously you know the players' names.
Yeah.
But definitely have a couple of experiences. I did work for the UF football team at my
Okay.
time there, so I did have to prove myself a few times watching football games in various bars, and it was my job, my time there to know all the players' names.
Okay.
So I got to list out their names way more than whatever boy was questioning me about that, which just feels so great. And it's just so funny to always see them like, I don't even know that player. I'm like, yeah, maybe next time you should look into the roster. And here I am in like my little dress or like whatever game day outfit, and they're like getting like scared of me and stuff, like walking away. I'm like, okay, thank you. And it is fun because then my friends are like, thank you, no men will bother us right now, which is also great.
Also just hilarious the fact that you're like literally employed by the team. Like it's
Right. Yeah, like I did have to go to practice with them. And then also, it's become more of like a party trick. So I did go head to head with one of my fiance's friends of naming different players from NFL teams. And I
okay.
did end up beating him. So I was really proud of
Amazing.
myself.
Amazing.
It was a great it was a great moment for me, and the men were very impressed by my knowledge to the point where they were really making fun of this poor other kid that I beat, and I almost felt bad because I was like, this is so funny because he just didn't expect it, so like he kind of challenged me, and he didn't know what he was getting himself into, and the rest of the guys kind of did.
That's
um
amazing. I say
it
this
was
every
great.
episode, and it's like, we don't need validation. Like, I'll be fine the
No.
rest of my life if I never got validation from men about the sports knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
However, I'm not gonna lie, it's a very satisfying feeling when you see their faces change and they're like, oh my God. And I don't even know that it's like validation from the men exactly, or
Yeah.
maybe that it's like one little step destroying the patriarchy, just a little bit, just a little teeny
Mhm.
tiny bit in that moment. It's not even the fact that the man is like, wow, good job. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think that. It's more the fact that the man's like, oh, whoa, okay, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
What was wrong.
Yeah.
Validation in that sense is nice.
No, I do feel like the next time that boy is probably going to think before he says something. And to me, that's as good as I can do to like help the girlies that have ever been questioned that before, kind of
Exactly.
thing. And my
Exactly.
favorite thing is when guys say to me, like, whoa, you actually know ball? What? Excuse me? Don't say that to me ever. Like that, ew, I don't know what about that just bothers me so much. I don't know. And it's so like, it can be such a girly thing. Like, I was on the phone. I'm getting married soon. The reason that I picked the girl who did my hair and makeup is because we talked on the phone for like 30 minutes about March Madness.
I
Like,
love that.
because she like convinced her husband to watch March Madness. Like he didn't have a team to cheer for and stuff. And like it's just it can be like a girlhood thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be trying to, fight for your life out here and
I
competing against
love
these
that.
men. So I definitely want to bring the femininity to girls in sports. And I really do want to get into more female sports too, which
Mhm.
like for the girls March Madness this year, and I've been watching girls soccer games because I did grow up playing soccer, but definitely trying to bring more of the girliness to the sports world.
love how you said that like this can be girlhood, and that's like such a huge trend right now of like, and like I was actually thinking about this the other day. I'm so like happy that I'm a woman. I'm so proud to be a woman. I wouldn't
Yes.
change it for the world. Like obviously it's hard, but like
Yeah,
it's the best. It's literally the best.
it's
Like
so
girlhood
fun.
honestly makes it the best, and like girlhood just like that term, but it's like sports can be girlhood too. Like why aren't
Sports
we
can be girlhood.
of this in girlhood? So I absolutely love that. That is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I think I've asked all my questions here. I'm just looking at my episode notes. I think we've nailed it. Went a little bit off track, but I think I loved it. I loved
Good.
everything we talked about. I say this all the time. I'm a very type B person.
Same.
I obviously structure is good, but sometimes it's good to just say what you're thinking. So
Yeah,
I'm glad that
totally.
we were able to do that today. All right, Allie, thank you again for sharing your golf knowledge. And I can't wait to follow along with your TikTok when football season starts and
Yes.
see what we get up to.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much to Allie for such a fun conversation. And now I'm like, oh my gosh. One, I need to go watch Full Swing, is what I'm gonna do first. And two, I need to get some more golf episodes in the works because that was just an absolute blast. I do apologize to Bryson DeChambeau though, because I feel like I've never trash talked a person on this show like we just did. But I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit therapeutic because, again, I was so confused by the love for this man, and maybe I'm missing something. So, if I am missing something, please feel free to send me whatever information that you saw that turned you into a Bryson lover because I haven't seen it yet. And it is so funny. Right after we hit end, I opened my phone, went to DM Allie to say thank you. The first thing that I see on my TikTok is that interview that I referenced when he's like, Rory didn't talk to me. And it was a video of it. I said that I hadn't seen the video, so I wasn't exactly sure of his tone. His tone is exactly what I would have expected it to be. Take that as however you want it. Take that however you want it. I encourage you to seek out that information. Honestly, by the time that this episode's released on Thursday, that clip will probably be all over the place. So yeah, I'm still a Bryce hater. I'll be honest about it. Well, maybe hater's not the right word. I don't like to be a hater, but Bryson, he's just not my cup of tea, if that's what we want to say. That's a nice, polite way of saying that. But yeah, wish him success or whatever. Again, we discussed opinions this episode. Everybody is entitled to their own, and that's okay. But yes, thank you again, Allie, for coming on. I had such a blast. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge, and thank you for telling us all about your love of golf. and your love of football. I'm so excited for sneaking in a little bit of a conversation about football in there. Always love a little sneaky football chat. Love it. I think that's it for me. I think that's all that I have to say. Next week, I'm super excited for the episode next week. It will be with a returning guest. This one's a little bit of a tricky one, actually. Let's see if you guys can guess who it is. It is a returning guest, and we chatted primarily about football when I had her on for the first time. But this episode, we're going to be talking about hockey. We're going to be talking about playoff hockey. By the time that episode airs, the NHL playoffs will have started. But this guest, I almost slipped her name right there, she was starting to dip her toes in hockey, and now that's kind of consumed her life. Football's out, hockey's in, okay? So if anybody has any guesses on who that might be, let me know. Comment below. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. I don't know. You're gonna have to wait until next Thursday to find out. But again, thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. I would also really appreciate if you hit like, if you rated the episode, if you commented, whatever platform you're listening on. Engage in whatever way you would like. It means so much to me, and I would really appreciate it. Yeah. I think that's it. I think you've heard enough of me rambling on here. I'm gonna go watch Full Swing. I'm gonna get a little bit more of the background. Probably should have gotten the background before this episode, but like I said, I was a little bit nervous to record this one. I felt like I wouldn't have enough to say, but Allie and I yapped plenty. We had enough to say. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have an amazing week. Again, thank you so much for listening. It means so much to me. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of you. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.